Yeah, but I follow you on Air America, or I did when that network was still in
Sure,
business.
I remember that. That was a noble attempt.
I noticed that you kept getting fired and rehired, and then fired and rehired.
Well, it's a funny thing in show business.
What is it with liberals? They can't take a joke?
Well, it's either desperation or that. But the thing about Air America is I kept going back because I initially got involved because I thought that it was a noble undertaking to take Bush down. That's what I wanted to do. And then what happened?
But they paid you also, right?
Well, yeah, they paid me a little bit. It wasn't charity. And then...
but pretty damn close to it, from what I heard.
No, we did all right. But there was some mismanagement there. But the thing was is that I did a comedy show for about a year and a half. And then the CEO there, who was a genius, I don't want to mention his name, Danny Goldberg, but he decided that my show was too irreverent and that it upset him. And that what we really needed was something more like NPR. So we said, wait, Danny, there already is a fucking NPR. Maybe we should just be funny. But, it's weird with the liberal sense of humor. It's hard to identify sometimes.
You know, I must say I'm sympathetic to that because, like, I do a fair number of charity events.
Yeah.
And very often the people at charity events are liberals because, you know, they're willing to part with their money. Present company accepted. And they're just the worst audience in the world. They're just too politically correct. And
they feel very guilty to laugh. Yeah, they have a problem with that because, I would talk on the show. We could do a big piece on the economy or something, and it could be right on the mark, ideologically, but it's never enough. Because you get the mail the next day. It's like, yeah, the talk about the economy was great, but what you said about the bluefin tuna was an issue. So now all of a sudden you're having to accommodate. It's like, who the fuck are these people? Like I just made a great point about the president. It's like, yeah, but you made a sort of derogatory comment about a woman. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even say that. And they were like, oh, well, it was my mistake. I used to get emails from guys that would say, they'd say things like, why don't you grow up and let the why don't you grow up and shut up and let the adults talk, because I was being funny. And this was a weird lesson I had to learn. So, of course, being an insecure comic, I wrote back and I said, which joke were you talking about specifically? And then he writes back, no, it's just your whole thing. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I said, well, could you identify the joke? And then it got to this point where I kept going back at this guy who was clearly just telling me to shut the fuck up. And eventually he got to the point where he says, why do you keep emailing me? So, like, how did I become the stalker in this situation?